That looked like most everybody.
Do you know a lady by the name of Wanda May?
I don't think so.
Get to know her.
Wanda May.
She has never failed to lose when she supported a person.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, this is Aaron.
Kurt, are you gonna handle the meeting, or do you? Till we get.
If you want me to. We got pretty much everybody here. I see Aaron, Chris, Tony. There's a couple of phone numbers down there. I don't know who those are, but I guess Abby knows who those are.
I'm not sure if mine's showing up as a phone number or a name, but this is Aaron. If it's a phone number, it's the 95261 one.
No, I see your name on there, Aaron. Thank you, buddy.
When you
awesome, thanks.
And is that Charlie Von Cannon there with Patty?
Yeah, Charlie's with me.
Bless your heart.
We've been partners the past 2 nights.
I was going to say, it looks like I just saw you all just like 12 hours ago.
I know, I feel like we're all in the same spots again.
All the same people. Except David Leveaux. He's smiling. He's the only one smiling because he wasn't here last night.
Hi, David.
I see Joe's on there.
I don't ever think I've seen David and him not be smiling.
I think you're right.
I hope that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Wes run off, I guess.
He's back.
Gosh, Wes was prettier when he wasn't sitting there.
I'm having some power failures here. I
Oh.
don't know what's going on. And I'm pretty old time, Kurt.
I know, Wes. So I guess I'm showing 5 after 5. Is everybody ready to get started? We'll go ahead and we'll call the Carter County Joint Economic and Community Development Board for January 26th, 2021 to order. We'll start by, I guess, welcoming all the visitors. Like I said, there's a couple phone numbers down there I don't know, but I appreciate you all getting back together and getting this started again. I guess what we need to do, if I don't see it on here, and I may have forgotten to mention that to Abby about calling the roll. Should we call the roll for people that are here?
We should. That way we can identify the phone number callers.
Okay, if you could go ahead, I guess Abby, or I don't have a list of people. Hopefully Abby or Patty's got it.
You got one, Abby? I think I wrote most of them down.
Mayor Woodby,
Here.
Mayor Alexander,
Here.
Mayor Wise,
Here.
Mayor LaFleur,
Here.
Wes Frazier,
Here.
Bill Carter, Aaron Frazier,
Here.
Ginger Holdren,
Here.
Chris Hychu,
Here.
David Leveaux,
Here.
Charles Von Cannon,
Present.
Brenda Lloyd,
I'm on here.
Dean Blevins, Tony Garland,
Here.
and Daniel Estes.
I'm here.
We've got 2 absent.
That's pretty good.
Okay, looks like a good quorum to me. I guess the next item on the agenda is adopting the agenda. If everyone's had a chance to look over the agenda, and if it's okay with everyone, can we get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Aaron Frazier.
Motion, Aaron. Anybody?
Mayor Woodby.
Second, Mayor Woodby. Any discussion or changes want to be made? Can we do an all in favor vote, or do we have to call roll on every vote?
Roll call.
Okay, call the roll.
Unfortunately.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Woodby,
Yes.
Mayor Alexander,
Yes.
Mayor Wise,
Yes.
Mayor LaFleur,
Yes.
Wes Frazier,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Chris Hychu,
Yes.
David Leveaux,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Aye.
Brenda Lloyd,
Yes.
Tony Garland,
Yes.
Daniel Estes.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you all. Motion passes. I forgot to mention, welcome to Mayor Joe Wise. Good to have you with us this evening. First time I've been on a call with you, but appreciate you taking time out to join us today.
Glad to be here.
Next item on the agenda is approval of our minutes from the previous meeting. If everyone's had a chance to look over those minutes, and if there are no corrections, could I entertain a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, Ms. Holdren. Who was the second?
Second.
Charlie.
Mr. Von Cannon,
Second, Charlie Von Cannon, thank you. Any corrections? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Mayor Woodby,
All abstain due to non-attending.
Mayor Alexander,
Aye.
Mayor Wise,
I'll abstain.
Mayor LaFleur,
Aye.
Wes Frazier, Wes, I think you're muted.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Chris Hychu,
Yes.
David Leveaux,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Aye.
Brenda Lloyd,
Yes.
Tony Garland,
Yes.
Daniel Estes.
Yes.
Thank you all. Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the election of officers. As you know, unfortunately, Mayor Barnett had passed. He was our chairman. I was the vice chairman, and I believe David was the secretary. So I guess what I would do is open the floor for nominations for, I guess, first of all, should we do chairman?
Mr. Alexander,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to nominate Mayor Woodby.
Okay, Mayor Woodby, nomination.
This is Wes Frazier. I'd like to nominate Kurt Alexander.
Oh, okay. Any more nominations? Seeing none, I guess we'll just call the roll on, just say the last name of the person that you would like to be chairman.
Mayor Woodby,
Woodby.
Mayor Alexander,
Alexander.
Mayor Wise,
Pass.
Mayor LaFleur,
Pass for now. Pass.
I couldn't hear you, Melissa.
Pass.
Wes Frazier,
Alexander.
Aaron Frazier,
Woodby.
Ginger Holdren,
Would-be.
Chris Hychu,
Alexander.
David Leveaux,
Oh, would be.
Charlie Von Cannon,
Woodby.
Woodby, Brenda Lloyd,
Would-be.
Tony Garland,
I'll pass on the basis this is my first meeting with this group.
Daniel Estes.
Alexander.
With abstentions not counting towards the number needed for majority vote, Mayor Woodby is elected as chairwoman by a vote of 6 for Woodby, 4 for Alexander, and 3 abstaining.
Thank you, Patty.
Don't seem so enthusiastic.
Thank
Kurt,
you.
did you just dodge a bullet?
Love it.
Kurt was over there holding his breath, and I was like, come on, Kurt.
I did not want to count to 6, but I'm glad you did, Patty. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I feel like I've been in that position so many times here lately.
You know what I like is that we can actually have a vote without any feelings getting hurt. I appreciate that.
Well, of course, there's nothing. We're all on this in this together. So hey, that's what I like.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kurt. I'll go ahead and I guess we'll need to do vice chair. Can I go ahead and get a nomination for the vice chair?
I'd like to nominate David Leveaux for vice chair. Or would you rather stay secretary, David? I think you do a great job there too.
Well, thank you. I was going to nominate you.
No, I'll take it. If you want secretary, I'll take a nomination for vice. It doesn't matter to me. Or
Take on doing minutes if nobody else wants to do them.
I think David does a great job. Whatever y'all want to do.
I'll defer that to another position if possible.
Okay.
Thank you though. I appreciate it.
Do we have a nomination for Mayor Alexander for vice chair?
I'll make the nomination for Kurt. This is Aaron.
Just use enough to.
Any further nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Ginger Holder.
I'll decline, Charlie, but thank you so much.
Now, Ginger, you beat
Well,
me.
you're the only blonde up there.
Come on, Ginger. Oh.
Much fun.
Any other
I'll make a
nominations for
motion
vice?
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Any other nominations for vice chair?
I'll make a motion that nominations cease and we elect by acclamation.
Can't remember. We need a second.
Yeah, we need a second. for that.
Commissioner Von Cannon, second. We'll just do a roll call. We'll do a roll call on that.
Mayor Woodby,
Yes.
Mayor Alexander,
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Mayor Wise,
Yes.
Mayor LaFleur,
Yes.
Wes Frazier,
Yes.
and I see Bill Carter has joined us.
Hey, Bill.
You're muted, Bill.
How's that?
There you go. We got you, Billy.
Thank you.
You vote.
Yes on the vote.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes, sorry, muted.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Chris Heitschu,
Yes.
David Leveaux,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Brenda Lloyd,
Yes.
Tony Garland,
Yes.
Daniel Estes.
Yes.
Congratulations, Kurt.
Oh, yes.
Okay, moving on to secretary. Do I have a nomination for the secretary position?
I'll nominate Dave Leveaux. When you do your job well, David, you get to keep it. So
Well, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that nominations cease and we elect David by acclamation, please.
Second the motion.
I'll second that.
I think that was second by, was that Wes or Bill Carter?
Bill Carter.
Bill, second by Bill. We'll do a roll call for that one also.
Mayor Woodby,
Yes.
Mayor Alexander,
yes.
Mayor Wise,
Yes.
Mayor LaFleur,
Yes.
Wes Frazier,
Yes.
Bill Carter,
Yes.
Aaron Frazier,
Yes.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Chris Hatchu,
Yes.
David Leveaux,
Yes.
Charles Von Cannon,
Yes.
Brenda Lloyd,
Yes.
Tony Garland,
Yes.
Daniel Estes.
Yes.
Congratulations, David.
Thank you. And thank you, Abby, for your assistance.
Okay, moving on down the agenda that we've got election of officers finished. On the agenda, we've added an election of an executive board. We had a joint city council and commission meeting last night on a discussion for economic development. And it was brought to our attention last night with most of our members that are here attending that there may be need for an election of an executive board that falls up and under this board to start the talks of hiring a joint or an economic development position. So I wanted to bring that to the board and also the members that were in attendance last night for further discussion to see if you want to move forward with doing that or how the board would like to proceed on that.
Well, your bylaws say that the executive committee shall be composed of the county mayors or city mayors as a minimum, at least those two. And then that's all the bylaws, I think, says. Shall be composed
Of all the mayors of represented
the
jurisdictions.
two mayors.
All the mayors of the jurisdictions.
Three mayors. I'm
Four
sorry.
mayors, all
Four.
four mayors.
Four.
Yeah, all four, be all four
That's
mayors.
right, Johnson
Elizabeth,
City.
Watauga, Johnson City, and Carter County.
And
Correct.
what's the minimum number on there, Abby?
That's
Could I
all the
throw
guidance
in-
the state law provides is that
And
the
then we can,
executive board must have at a minimum.
yes,
the
go
mayors.
ahead, Kurt.
I was going to say, we probably, instead of having four, we need to add one more just to have that odd number in case of anything would come up that would need a vote.
That's what I was asking Abby. We need to probably add one or three, however you want to do it. If we want to try to get a representative kind of from each side too, or, you know, a little bit more in the area, whatever the board thinks.
One city, one county.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
It would, if we did one from maybe the city and one from the county, it would make it an even number.
I'd suggest the smaller the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 would be good.
How does everybody feel about 6?
A little bit salt.
I think we need an odd number.
Odd number?
That sort of separates the votes.
Okay. Want to stick with 5 then, Kurt? What do you think?
That'll be great. Yes. I think I think you get many more than that, it just gets really hard to
Yeah,
get anything accomplished
I
and to get
agree.
people together.
Okay, who would want to be that 5th member? I guess is the question. Who would do nominations for the 5th member?
Right.
Does anybody want to volunteer?
Yeah, I guess we could start there.
I'd like to nominate Chris Hatchu.
We've got a nomination for Chris Hachi.
I appreciate that, Charles. I really do. But there's a possibility I may roll off this board in June when the new chamber president comes on. Because he may elect to serve versus me as the appointee.
Okay.
We could review that at that time.
Yeah.
Chris, we could review it at that time if you wanted to, or however you want to proceed.
I have not had an opportunity to talk to Danny O'Quinn about his thoughts beginning July 1.
Okay. So do you want to withdraw your nomination from?
I think that'd be best overall, just for, not having to turn around in 3 or 4 months and potentially have to put someone else in on the executive board.
Okay. So we'll withdraw the nomination for Mr. Hachi. Anyone else like to volunteer or be nominated?
I'll volunteer.
And Aaron?
Aaron, you're such a team
Yeah.
player.
I was going to
Nobody else?
suggest David,
Big
since
deal.
that would be all of your officers.
Yeah.
Mr. Leveau's your other officer that you don't have included in the 4, because you've got your chair and your vice chair. And
I'm fine with that too. Doesn't matter to me. I was just diving on the grenade.
Aaron has volunteered, and that's fine with me if he would like to.
David is so diplomatic.
yeah,
So Aaron, I guess you are our 5th member of the executive board.
Thank you.
And would that board be okay with trying to get together and meet one day next week? We've kind of got a short time frame tonight to really do anything with it, or next month, I'm sorry. Sometime.
Madam Chairman, if I could suggest, I don't know that if I'm not a member of the executive committee, but I don't know that I'd be hard charging into the work product as of yet. I think it'd be best to see that we get some affirmation from the city council and the county commission that they wish to undertake that work. That's the reception I got from the meeting last night. I'd like to have some confirmation that what direction those bodies see this thing going.
Okay. We will just hold off then maybe and wait and see, because I'm not real sure. I know council's planning on that undertaking next month, but I'm not sure where the commission's at.
And that's precisely my point.
Yeah. So. Any thoughts from any of the members?
Maybe set something up at the end of February.
Maybe towards the end of February, into March, possibly, with that.
Yeah, when did you have the next meeting scheduled, or do we have the next one scheduled yet?
The joint economic meeting.
We're required to meet at a minimum quarterly. So it's always really been up to the board about when they wanted to meet and how frequent.
How frequent does this board want to meet? Do you want to do monthly? Do you want to do quarterly?
Every other month?
Every other month? What's the feeling?
Usually it'll be around April.
Yeah.
By then, I think we would have the feel of what the commission and the council are wanting to do.
That might be best. And then we can decide if we wanted to meet more after that quarterly meeting there, possibly.
That way, at least we're meeting the minimum requirements.
Yeah.
And with us looking at the end of March for another potential joint workshop, that would also get that out of the way before this board met again.
Good point.
Okay, that sounds good. Next on the agenda is the county update. Of course, that's normally me, I think. I don't really have much to update other than, of course, we're still going through this pandemic. The vaccines are moving a little bit better this week. I did get notification that we are receiving more this week. I'm very pleased with that email. So they're really starting to vamp it up a little bit. That's really about all I've got going on right now to update on. That's been the main topic, really, the main concern of mine at this moment. So does anybody else have anything that they?
Yes, one other thing. What interests Chris Hatchew, who's now on the school board. The Smalling Bridge, which has been out of service for school buses for 4 years now, 3 or 4 years. The Smalling Bridge contract, all the architectural work is done, and apparently it's out for bids. Probably, I don't know if it's in this budget or not, but it's going to be within a year before they can start construction. You know how that came about, why they shut it down. I was going across the bridge one day and they'd put up new weight limit signs. And I thought, gee whiz, what little I know about weight. But I said, the school bus weighs that much. So I went back and pulled the school bus on the scales up at the landfill, the same model, the diesel, 66 passenger, and noted the weight. And then I went down to the recycling center and I jumped upon the scales, said, I've been trying to lose weight. So I recorded my weight. Everybody was on the bus wanted to weigh. So we took that off, and the weight of the school bus weighed more than the load limit on the bridge. So we were having a meeting that evening, and Chris Mathis, the sheriff, went in, and they didn't run the bus the next morning. So we got a lot of complaints. One lady said, well, my kids get home 30 minutes later every evening. I said, lady, at least they get home. Because that was a disaster waiting to happen. So that's how the bridge got shut down.
Are you asking him something, Charlie, or just telling him? Okay. Anything else?
Oh yeah, sorry, Patty. We've got a unfortunate vacancy on the Industrial Development Board in the county as well. The passing of Pete Voigt left a spot open that we're looking to try to fill around the March timeframe. They only meet quarterly anyway, so we're just trying to get ahead of. I think they're meeting in April or so. So if you know anybody that would be interested in that, let me know. Have them email me or the county clerk an application or a notice that they're interested in it, and we'll get it taken care of in the March nominating committee meeting.
Thank you, Aaron. We'll move on to the city update from Kurt or Daniel. I'm not sure who.
I'll defer to Miss Engel.
Logan, I'm sorry.
I'm here in person again, so you.
Logan, you're doing so great.
Well, just to give you all kind of an update of our activities, I know I have not joined you all as a board since I started in this role in July, and as we joked about last night, there's many of you that I still have yet to meet because when you start a job mid-COVID, it makes it hard, and even if I do meet you, I only see half your face, so I may not recognize you after that. So at least on Zoom, I can see your face. So since I have been here and over the years since the last time you met, basically 2020, we've continued on the industrial recruitment front to receive interest. I know Mitch is on this call and he maybe can give you a perspective from a regional view. But I think in conversations that we have had regionally, we think because of COVID that a lot of our local businesses have been impacted, and that may be true. But in terms of industrial recruitment, I don't really see that the requests for information that we get from the state have really slowed down, which is a good indication that perhaps the impact is not going to be felt quite as great if companies, whether they're international companies or domestic companies, are willing to make that investment to grow, to site new plants, whether that is, looking for pad ready sites or spec buildings or existing facilities to come in and rehab. So on that note, we did have 2 industrial site visits during 2020. One was begun pre-COVID and languished a little bit, and then the company was ready to move forward. One was right in the heart of COVID. So we continue to work those projects. As was alluded to last night, we're not just working industrial sites that are in the city. We're also the contact for the county. So one of those 2 sites was in the county limits, not in the city limits. So we continue to do that work and respond appropriately to sites that we have in our inventory that match the pieces of information that the site selector, the state of Tennessee Economic and Community Development Department, or the Tennessee Valley Authority's Economic Development Group pursues to try to locate these folks here. So that work continues, and we take those requests as they come, process them against our inventory, and based upon that are able to better determine what fits for the inventory that we have. The other thing about that is we're also able to track, and I have begun doing this, and this is one way I see the regional approach is helpful. Alicia Summers in Washington County, Tyler Engel in Unicoi County, and myself, we all are sharing similar types of information in regard to how we track sites. So we may have a request or a project that's come in that we don't have inventory for, but we're tracking that data. So if, several years down the road, we find we want to do something, we can look back at that data and say, okay, was that a pad ready site that most likely was needed? Was it a spec building? Was it an existing facility? And how can we better cultivate that information? So that's very helpful to just keep that data in check in case you need it. Additionally, in terms of what the city's been doing, we've done a downtown facade grant program to try to continue to energize our downtown area. And that's in its first year. Council funded that in last year's budget, and hopefully we'll be able to continue that program. We got several great applicants, and so that's great to help match funds to make improvements to downtown buildings. So that's something that we started this year. That's exciting. In addition to that, many of you are engaged in Main Street Elizabethton. Of course, Courtney Bean, who's our director, is very active, and you've probably run across her along the way. So we continue to help foster that organization and work with Courtney to see how we can dovetail on various projects that Main Street has going. And that's exciting work, and it seems to really be taking off in terms of their branding and the impact they're having on the downtown area. So that's just sort of a snapshot of what's going on. We continue to monitor, as I said, industrial projects, retail development, all of the things that go along with economic development, working with the folks at NetRep and in the region to try to work together instead of working against each other. I call it co-opetition instead of competition or cooperation. So we work hard to foster that and continue to try to bring more business into the community.
Hey, Logan, if you could, can you touch on the hotel prospect?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been talking with the developer of the hotel. They continue to be very positive. Of course, as I alluded to earlier with COVID, we all know that there's been significant impacts on certain sectors. Hospitality is primarily one of those sectors that's been so heavily impacted. And so, reaching out to them and making sure they're still committed to Elizabethton. They are. Part of their delay, of course, was COVID. They're working out some additional financing related things, but all appears to be still on target, just a little bit later than we had anticipated. And again, most of that is due to COVID. So I've been communicating with those folks at the Cobblestone Hotel Group, and we continue to make those connections that we need to in order to get that project moving. To see what's going to happen next. But I anticipate, based on conversations, we should see some movement on that this year. That's pretty significant.
Thank you, Logan. Does anybody have any questions for Logan? No. We'll move on to the NetRep update. I see Mitch, you're on there. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, Mayor, how are you?
Good.
Just to touch a little bit on what Logan had talked about as well. As she mentioned, activity is at extremely high peak right now from where we have, seen it over the past even 2 years, even going back before COVID, when the economy was doing extremely well. We've had a lot of interest from companies, whether it's looking at existing facilities. I know, for instance, in Washington County, there's an existing facility that's probably one of the better facilities we have in East Tennessee as a whole, the former ALO building, that's received extreme amount of interest in visits over the past month. But also too, I just want to touch on, as Logan talks about pad ready sites, it's almost a necessity now to even get a visit from a prospect if they're looking at a greenfield site, that you have the site graded, you have the site, ready to have utilities all the way to it. Environmental work has been done. Really, it's preparing yourself for investment by having to invest in that product ahead of time. So, we've had some extreme interest on sites at the Washington County Industrial Park. I know there's been some good interest down in Unicoi County as well on a site that they have, a 16-acre site they have that's pad ready. But, to get that activity, that's really what it's coming down to if they're looking at greenfield sites. As we look at Carter County, I do think the best opportunity that exists today is the Matheson property. But, we'll say that I think it's important, especially as this group kind of comes together and formulates a game plan for Carter County, that you really look, if you want to be in the industrial game, to figure out, where's the next best investment for us as a whole, and how do we get to the point where we're competitive. So, from that end, activity is high, which is great, but it's tough when, you're trying to sell from an empty wagon in a lot of cases. So, I think one thing that this board can do, and ultimately I know it's come together first and foremost and kind of have a direction, but two, if that is something that is a priority, some next steps to do that would be helpful, and we're happy to help on that end where we can with NetRep as well. Since we last met, I do want to update you all, because I'm not sure how many of you all are aware of this, and I know this dates back to really the beginning of COVID over a year ago almost. As things were kind of coming down the pike, and then ultimately when we hit into March and shutdown started to happen, a group of folks, and I think Joy is on here as well. She was helpful as she came on as a chamber director there near the end. But we created a group, and when I say we, chamber executives across the region, economic development arms, just interested parties that wanted to help businesses that ultimately were struggling and impacted the most by COVID. We were able to work together and help raise money, and created a group called Region Ahead, and focused on creating a local business recovery fund. Just wanted to let you know that over $16,000 was distributed to Carter County businesses alone. So through that, there was a pretty significant impact, and over $250,000 total was collected to help support businesses across 22 counties in our region that goes up into Southwest Virginia and Northeast Tennessee, and in the independent cities there in Southwest Virginia as well. So to be able to do that and help out Carter County businesses was pretty special. And we were able to actually go in, hand deliver a check, look at trying to get some recognition of those companies that needed help, and really just say thank you for being here, because they're part of the fabric that makes, whether it's Elizabethan or Rome Mountain or whomever, special, really special. So that was a pretty unique thing that we were able to do. I'm not sure that you all were aware of that, but that was a great project. And then we took it a step further recently. This group has continued to meet Region Ahead and just talk about some initiatives that we would like to focus on. And one of those was updating people across the region about getting a vaccination. And so we actually did, this was 2 weeks ago, a webinar series in partnership with WJHL and WCYB to have healthcare professionals come on and actually talk about getting vaccinated, exactly how the process works, who's eligible, where you can go get vaccinated at. But two, just try to just get comfort for folks as they were considering being vaccinated and understanding, exactly what it was going to happen and how everything works with it. With that as well, in doing that webinar, we also worked with a group out of Jonesboro. Sorry, I'm going to laugh at the name, but they're a great, basically a great research firm here, marketing firm called Smarty Pants. And they work with groups all across the U.S., have some major clients, and they came in and actually worked with our group and conducted a survey across the region. We had over 1,100 people respond. From that, though, we were trying to get individuals that had not yet even went through the first dosage of vaccination. So after we filtered those numbers out, it was about 760 folks. And just really tried to understand, one, were people here in our region wanting to be vaccinated? If there were concerns, fears, what were those concerns or fears? So that way we could work with our healthcare professionals to really help, address any of those needs, concerns, fears, worries, and also too with our media outlets, just trying to get the right message out, because the quicker we can get back to business, the better. And ultimately we want to make sure that our region, has accurate information with it, but two, can get back to business that much quicker. So I've got basically an 83-page report that was done by the group. I'll be happy to share that with Abby if you want to send that out to the group, if any of you all want to read through it. But the biggest takeaway that I got out of it was the majority of folks that filled out the survey want to get vaccinated as soon as possible. And we kind of just were curious to know about that, whether it was, hey, we want to wait 30 days to make sure no one, has any side effects, or, no way in God's green earth and am I getting vaccinated? We were kind of curious to just see where they kind of landed on that, and ultimately help us get information to, the right folks here in the region, how we can actually market to try to get people to consider it. So moving on from the Reaching Ahead side, want to talk about a couple things. This goes back to April of 2020, but when COVID did hit, we immediately started doing basically Zoom discussions with our manufacturers once a week, and had folks coming in to talk about everything from were you essential to non-essential, if there were temporary shutdowns, what were some of the things that were impacting folks, how to handle COVID in the workplace, you name it. And it's been really just a great platform for our businesses across the region to kind of talk through things. We've now spread that out really to about once a month, now that, we've adjusted to life with COVID. But it's been really great to have our manufacturers kind of around the table, and Zoom is such a great platform to be able to do that, so they don't have to leave their office. And we've also had everybody from legislators. I know Mayor Woodby has come on and actually been part of some of those discussions as well. And I think it's just a great way to create a communication line, but also too, to feel like they've got a line of support beyond just themselves, whether it's through us, whether it's through the Carter County government or whoever. And, I just mentioned a couple here, Snap-on, Right Screen, Watt McDonald, they're regular attendees on that. I know Logan sits in on it as well. And it's just a great way to have some good conversation to address some challenges that, ultimately we're all facing, and not have to do that independently.
Mitch, I'll add, if you know of a manufacturer that's not engaged in that, we just added MAPES to that group based on some conversations I had with them. Get them in touch with me. We'll get them added to that list. It's a great resource. I think most manufacturers find it very valuable, just like you're talking about, man.
Without a doubt. And one other thing on the net rep side, I'll mention, Kayla Carter, who most of you all are familiar with. She finalized phase 1 of our outdoor master plan as we're looking at promoting the outdoor recreation economy here and how we can grow that. We're starting on phase 2 of that, where we're actually looking at specific projects. You could look at something like a Surf Betsy and doing a true ROI on a project to see, based on investment, based on what we think it can bring in terms of people, sales, things like that, trying to get an idea about, where our biggest bang for the buck is on certain projects about the region. So she's just started that phase 2. We anticipate that to ultimately go out over the next 6 to 8 months. And I think that's going to be something that'll be helpful for us as we look at big picture projects across the region that provide high impact, but most importantly, when you go to someone like a Mayor Woodby or a Mayor Alexander or Daniel, that we can say, a project like this ultimately is going to return this in value, and it's worth the investment because you'll be paid back over a 5-year period. To be able to do some of those things, I think will be helpful as we look at big picture projects, and hopefully provide some good guiding direction to our municipalities or county governments as they look at trying to make some investments in the future. And then lastly, I'll just say, I'm sure this came up in some discussion last night at the joint workshop between the city and the county there as it relates to economic development. But there's been a lot of talk about regional hub discussion. I can say that, things seem extremely positive where economic development efforts beyond just what I would call a traditional line. When you think about, tourism, outdoor rec, governmental relations, things like that, things seem extremely positive where those efforts could be brought together under an umbrella foundation housed with the First Tennessee Development District. And, I just say this from the net rep side, this is something we've been pushing on for a long time. And we do believe that, if we're all working together for the greater purpose and combining those efforts together to have that one voice, that one mission, and one identity, I think that sets this region up for success. So I just really appreciate some of the conversations we've had recently with Kurt, with Patty, Daniel, others, and Logan, just always being part of our team meetings every other week as we talk about, some of these opportunities. I feel really good about where we stand today, and I'm hopeful, at least by, the next 2-3 months, that more information can come out that, we're formalizing a greater plan for the, entire area in our region.
Thank you, Mitch. I was actually going to ask you to touch base on the regional hub because it's becoming quite a bit of conversation. We did have that discussion in our meeting last night. And I think, I hope to get you at a commission meeting or at some point in time. I think there's some confusion on the hub, net reps role, the hub's role, the net reps role, Joint Economic Development Board's role. There's just a lot of, there was a lot of questions and those, how all those things are going to tie together. So at some point, I may need to get you a little bit more involved to just kind of clarify what each entity's, made up of. A lot of I think some of our commissioners had that confusion. I'd just like to clarify it. And I think that the hub's going to be a very, very successful organization. I'm excited to be part of that. So
I'm happy to do that. You let me know when and where, and well, obviously it's probably going to be on Zoom, but you let me know when, and I'm happy to do that.
But thank you for the update. Does anybody have any questions for Mitch?
I want to ask Mitch, during the slowdown with COVID, is there any activity out there, real activity, people hunting sites at the moment?
Yeah, Charlie, it's a good question to ask, but without a doubt, a lot of folks are trying to find buildings, just looking at opportunity on that front, just because it cuts down time. You're not having to build out cost, obviously. So when I say there's a lot of activity, the former ALO building, out in Washington County, out in Telford, it's probably receiving more interest from anything that, we've been able to actually put out there and market. But without a doubt, there's companies looking at sites. I think it just goes back down to, we need pad ready developed sites that are going to reduce time, cost. The questions have been answered that, are there environmental issues? Are there sinkholes? Are there, any concerns? If I were to make an investment here, that's really what it comes down to, is just,
Did the Swedes still own that former Bush Hog building?
There's a holding group, actually. I believe they're out of Chicago, that owns it. So it's owned by them. The company did not own that facility. They had a lease on it. So basically, the company out of Chicago is considering either a lease or a sale.
That building is so big, 396,000 square feet, that it looks like an easier way to move it, if they would agree to it, is have it.
I think they're open to ideas, but at the end of the day, I can tell you this, Charlie, the interest we've had, people are actually looking at the whole entire facility. It's everything from distribution to manufacturing right now. So, it's a really, really good building. When I say East Tennessee, it's probably one of the better buildings, even in comparison to Knoxville, Chattanooga, and beyond. It's just a good building that I don't think will be sitting much longer.
When Bush Hog had the building, believe it or not, a great number of people drove from here to Telford to work. And that proves that the roads now are good. Used to, back when I was in this world in Carter County, we had 232 that drove from Carter County to Tennessee Eastman. And that's when the roads were a little narrower than they are now. And that's about a 45-minute trip. Today you can make it in 20, 25, if you speed a little.
I can only imagine you on the road, Charlie.
Anything else for Mitch? All right, we'll move on the agenda to other business. I know I've got Joy. I see Joy on the line, and she's our chamber director, and we're running short on time. We've got another meeting standing out in the hall, but I want to give her an opportunity to speak a little bit about what's going on with the chamber and kind of update the committee on the initiatives she's got going. I know she's doing a lot of great things.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. Sorry, I'm in my garage. I am trying to fool with my child at a basketball. I know all of you feel my pain. So what's going on with the chamber right now is that we did secure, thank you again to the county commission for giving us the $7,500 to ensure that the Omnium bike ride, this is a bike ride that has previously happened the Sunday after Blue Plum. And we've made sure that it's going to come back to Carter County. We had great success last year when it was in downtown Elizabethton. A lot of our downtown vendors all loved having it there. That was an extra day of revenue for them, which in the middle of a pandemic that's a make or break for sure. So they all were on board. Talking to a lot of our community partners with tourism as far as our cabin rentals and Airbnbs and other rentals. they all loved having them in town too. Because again, even though it's in the summer and it's peak travel season, that was just one more opportunity for some of those folks to kind of get some more revenue in. So we were looking at it from that aspect of, okay, this is something that we can help create to maybe make it into something bigger. And make it into a big weekend thing. Chamber's working really close with Parks and Recs, with Kelly Kittens and with Courtney to make sure that we've got a top-notch weekend designed for those cyclists and their families to come in town. Earlier today, I was on the phone with co-starters, so you can go ahead and watch for that to happen. That will probably come later this spring, maybe the end of February, 1st of March. We're kind of playing it by ear as far as COVID goes, just like everybody else. We've got some other programs that are coming up as well, but other than that, we're doing pretty good. David, did I leave anything out? I know I've got a couple of my board members who are on here, and we also nominate David for everything. So you all are good hands. He's been nominated, double nominated, and triple nominated for the chamber. So did I leave anything out? I knew you wanted me to talk about that. And thanks again, Mitch. I really enjoyed your help with Region Ahead, and we loved it. And our members that were able to get that cash here in Carter County, they have all said wonderful things and just appreciate it so much. And we hear from them constantly, which is great.
Youth Ambassador Group.
Oh yeah.
In the move.
Do what? Oh, and the move. So we moved. If you haven't seen our new building, please come check it out. It's beautiful. It doesn't leak. It doesn't smell bad. It's not on the highway. It's great. It's right downtown. We see a lot more traffic. I was surprised in the middle of January, December that we see as many tourists as we do, but we just had a group come in today. It was like 2 or 3 couples. They're all from Naples, Florida, and they're all buying homes here in Carter County. Like they were there to meet the realtor to go to do the thing. Like they looked in Ripshin, they looked in Round Mountain. They specifically want to live in Carter County opposed to Asheville or Boone or Banner Elk. They want to live here because of the cost of living and the quality of life. So that's great. We love to see that. So we see that a lot more traffic in our new space, just people popping in, asking questions. It gives us room to be able to offer all the programming that Chamber really needs to be doing, one of which is Chamber Youth Ambassador. So last semester, I opened it back up. We hadn't had Chamber youth leadership in a year or two. So we decided, let's just throw the iron in the fire and see where we land. And we capped it at 25. And I spent all semester with 25 students from all of our area high schools, all 5 of them, and 2 homeschool students going all over the county and the city, learning about all the things and how things work. Mayor Woodby, I appreciate you talking to my teenagers. I know that was a short time to talk to them via Zoom, and that's never easy. But we've opened it up again for this semester. We look like we'll have a full class this time too. It closes on Friday, and then we'll get cranking on February the 9th. The whole purpose of the new program is that we want these kids not only to learn about the behind the scenes of Carter County, and thanks to you too, Logan, you were on that call too. And teenagers are hard. If you ever have to talk to them, and I have 3 of them, they're real difficult. Y'all pray for me because my kids are trying to kill me right now. Like they're all outside. I've kicked them all outside. It's too much. Oh, here one comes. They're all real inquisitive, and we specifically wanted students that maybe they don't have a 4.0. Maybe they're making a BC student. I was a BC student, right? I had no idea what I wanted to be when I was in high school. I didn't have a clue. They just need a little guidance, and we want them to understand what is right here in Carter County, why it's so great to live here, why people are moving here all the time, why we're on somebody's bucket list, and how they can have a big part in it too. We wanted them to know who the players in the game are, and we want them to have some opportunities to learn about some other careers that might not be college bound. So we've had great success, and we really like it. We've appreciated a lot of our sponsorships that have happened from our community partners. David, did I leave anything out? I think I didn't.
Yeah, the only thing I would add that Joy hasn't tapped on was tourism.
Oh gosh, tourism was great. I know that we're hopefully coming, Mayor Woodby, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Ross has asked for us to come in April to the county commission to talk about what we've been up to, and then we'll be able to tie in a little bit more about that bike race because he hopefully will have come to the city for approval by then. Tourism, we have seen an increase like none other. We hear from all of our other county, we have a call that we do all the time with the rest of the county tourism departments, and I've sat in on a few of them. We're way ahead of the curve. People come, we've seen an uptick every single month since June. We've seen an uptick every single month. Like it's better this year than it was in 2019, which is amazing. So we're putting those dollars to good use. Luke's been able to cast that net even farther. I think the question we get all the time is, well, why don't we ever see any of your ads in Carter County? Well, because you all know everything about Carter County. Why would we advertise to you? You know everything. We're sending that reach out to Texas, to Florida. We're seeing an impact coming from Charlotte, Nashville, Atlanta, Kentucky, out that way, because we want it to be an easy day's drive, just like how all of us get in the car and drive to the beach every summer. We're trying to build that same experience for folks that may be further away from the beach. They're not going to get on a plane. They can't go to Disney World this year. Whatever that looks like, they're all coming here and they're having a great time and they're coming back time and time again. So it's something that we've got our finger on and we're watching very carefully to see what we could do to continue with that impact.
And that is increased dollars without increased room capacity. No.
Correct. We have not seen any room. We don't have a new hotel. I know we have a few more, and I dare say maybe 24, and that may be a stretch, Airbnbs or cabin rentals that are not Road Mountain or Meredith Valley or Bee Cliff that we all think of, but there's not any new. There's one new campground that we kind of know of, but I think it was here before. They just were kind of under the radar. It's not with we had a whole new resort come in with 500 beds or 500 rooms. This is with what we've had this whole time. So people love it. We got reports from Road Mountain that they were triple booked. They stay booked. They're still booked. We love that. We love to hear that. So it's gone really well. We certainly welcome any of your suggestions or your feedback on what else we can do, but we're real pleased.
Thanks, Joy.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. That's great news. And during this time, I love hearing that. Thank you for what you're doing. And I love the Youth Ambassador Program. My daughter was a part of that. And I just think that is such a wonderful opportunity for our youth. I mean, I think it's great. So anytime I can participate or be any help with that, you just let me know.
Oh, I'll be sending you and Logan your dates. Don't worry.
Okay, that sounds good.
Here in April this time. I'm going to give you till April. So I'll keep you posted.
Good.
Thank you.
Anybody, any questions for Joy? No? Okay, well, looks like we're almost finished. I guess I can entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aaron.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. First, does anybody want to choose it? We want to go to April, or do you just want Abby to send out some dates for our next meeting?
April sounds good.
Okay. All right. She'll handle that, and then we'll pick a couple of dates and see what works with everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.